Hey guys, how's it going? It's me again. It's been a bit. I'm always meaning to make more of these, but life gets in the way. One little notation here is I think I'm changing the name of this thing. I know before I've called it the stance, or sorry, not the stance. Jeez, that's stuck in my head. The scramble. But I think I'm switching it. I'm switching it to the backup. Why? Why, you ask? Because we don't know how long it's going to be. Let me know if you think that's a better name for this other than the scramble, but yeah, the backup. Anyways, guys, what I think I'm going to get into here. All right. What I think I'm going to get into here on this one is, it's what's going on right now. Foot faults, right? Basically, when it comes to foot faults, I believe it comes down to intention. If you're intending on abusing your stance, and your lie and your positioning, then it's serious. If it's a slip due to uneven ground, mud, pine needles, anything like that, where maybe you didn't clean it up enough before you did your little approach motions, then maybe that's not as serious of an issue, right? I think with Kristin's foot fault, due to the rules of how they are and how it's explained, yes. And if you haven't watched, check out Perkins and Earhart's podcast. But yes, as Brian said, it was a foot fault. However, in the spirit of the game, you don't want a call within the last couple holes of a major event to be the determining factor as to who was going to win that event. If you're going to make a statement as the Professional Disc Golf Association, and don't get me wrong, you know what? PDGA are doing what they're trying to do. They're trying to better things. They're trying to be more involved. People whine about them not being involved enough and all that stuff. They're going to make missteps. They're going to make missteps. They're going to make their own types of foot faults. But I think in this case, if you're trying to make a statement that, hey guys, we're going to hold the competitors accountable for things, do it in the first couple rounds, man. You don't do it in the last few holes of the actual event. Do it in the last few holes of the first or second round. It does show that you could have been having a good round and then you got penalized for something that you did. But you don't do it in the last few, especially at a major, guys. I know maybe they're trying to take this stance of, hey, we're going to do this at a major to the number one player to show that but here's the other thing, the whole weekend, there are competitors on video playing. The whole weekend, there are competitors on video, not just touching their disc of where it was, stepping directly on it or kicking it 3 to 4 feet out in front of them. Again, guys, I think it comes down to the spirit of the rule versus the actual technicality of the rule. But, I'm just a guy who watches disc golf, right? I'm just a guy who plays casually. But I think it comes down to that too. It's what do the viewers want to see? As they stated on with Nate and Brian, the viewers aren't going to get excited about the correct call being made in these final few holes of the major event, first major of the year. They want to see the competitors beat each other. They want to see the quality of play and the level of play at which the best player comes out on top. And in that instance, a one-stroke penalty that went from 1 stroke back, I believe, with a couple holes to play. I believe she was around there. She was well within striking distance. In fact, on hole 18, Missy went OB. I think Missy was trying to play safe. Missy went OB. So there's a lot of different outcomes that could have happened. Yes, we don't know we can't rewind the time and see exactly what would have happened, but man, that was a tough. I mean, we were at the final round. So we went down to Stockton and we watched the final round. We didn't even see that we didn't even hear about it until later. And watching it, man, that's tough. That is tough. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I wouldn't wish that on Missy. But, you know, ultimately, question is, what do you guys think? Do you guys think, was the actual call the correct call? And if it was the correct call, should it have been made in that situation at that point in time of the event? You know, it's tough because we tell them to be more accountable. We tell the PDGA that they need to be more involved and make sure that these things get caught. But at the same time, we yell at them when they do it. I think there's I think there's a point at which, yes, you need to have these things be noted. You need to make sure that these players, but it's also consistency across the board. You can't do it to one person, the number one player on the last couple holes. I think it's all situational, man. When it comes down to this, it's specifically because it was within the last couple holes where Kristin was well within striking distance, well within her capability of winning another major, and this just took her completely out of it mentally, which completely demolishes her chances of getting that win. Anyways, guys, again, if you want to hear more about our conversation, go check out our recent go check out our recent podcast episode. I believe this is season 2025, but episode 9, where Ken, Justin, and I discuss this. And in addition to that, you know, whether you want to watch or listen, we do have it on a lot of the streaming platforms, the audio version. And, you know, as always, a subscribe really does help. Views really help. We're trying to get to where we can get monetized and all that stuff so we can bring you more goods. But anyways, guys, I appreciate your time, appreciate your ear and listening to me ramble about my opinion and my viewpoint. So again, let me know what you think. The backup, does that sound good? All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye.